What's up, everybody? We are about to get a little track session in. I've been slow with recording and posting and not nearly as active as I've wanted to be. So I've seen a lot of people that I really respect who put out some stuff that I really like, that just kind of mic up, hit record, and talk through their sessions. And I figured it's probably the easiest possible way I could produce things, so I'm hopping on that bandwagon. So yeah, today I've got our my Freelap set up. So yellow cones down at the end there. It's just going to record the final 10 meters of what's going to be a fly 10, basically a 40-meter sprint, measuring the last 10 meters. It'll be kind of like the main exercise of the day once we get there. The nice thing is it just makes it really easy to calculate an estimated top speed and measure kind of that top end output. Before we get into that, I'm gonna try to open some things up. I've had some issues on this left hip here, both a little bit of a mobility imbalance and a hip flexor that's not firing quite as well, not as nicely as the right one. So I'm gonna do a little bit of my kind of correctives, get things moving here, and then we'll go through the prep and some accelerations, the fly 10s, and then maybe a little bit of lateral work too, depending on how things are feeling. So that is what we have in store for us today. I feel like everything on my left side has just been locked up. Basically, knee issue that goes back about a decade that I've probably been, compensating for, guarding a little bit. And it's incredible how much difference there is in terms of how loose everything feels on the right versus the left. The knee doesn't give me so many issues nowadays. I've kind of worked through most of that stuff, but then it was back injury from a few years back, which honestly was probably the result of just tension held through the leg and this hip that then caused things to go out of whack upstream. For my prep stuff, a little bit of kind of technical work that'll help get those hip flexors I was talking about going. And then basically from there, it's just about doing tasks. Like, your prep should kind of look and feel like the thing that you're prepping to do. So it's going to be different speed, bound, hop variations, and just building from slow to fast, low force to high force, and then getting ready for that the max effort sprints at the end there. So let's do that. I have some track spikes here with me, but I'm gonna keep the Vivos on for the prep stuff, and then switch into them for the higher velocity stuff. Question is, can I get myself in frame here? Honestly, for most people, one of the biggest things you can do when it comes to like sprint prep, or even as a training modality just to improve it on its own, is anything that really challenges your ability to hit the ground and be stiff through the foot and the ankle. Like, that's why I use bounds so much, different bounds, hops, like anything where you have to hit and really explosively rebound off of it without the heel collapsing into the ground. So one of my go-tos from like a prep perspective, just kind of linear, somewhat horizontal bounds, going from low hops to just faster and faster and higher and more explosive as things go on. Might spend a little more time with these than usual because it's been a little bit since I've been on the track, a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, and just that quality of that stiffness component does feel like it's not as much there as it usually is. So we'll see how things progress. Okay, I'm starting to feel like the amount that I'm swimming in these shoes is not productive anymore. Wide, got a wide toe box, no real laces. It's like a zip tie kind of situation, and my feet are just moving around. And that's what happens when you start going faster. Start producing more force. You just need more lockdown. You need a little bit less space. So that's the thing with footwear, is it's like you're trying to pick the thing that's right for the context. You know, it's similar to a lot of conversations when someone goes, it's kind of like when someone asks, you know, is this exercise best? It's like, well, best for what? For what context? For what goal? What are you trying to achieve? So for me, the Vivos, the barefoot shoes, those are best for a lot of different contexts, but time to get out of them and start producing some velocities. So not done with the prep yet. Just gonna keep scaling up the bounds, some submax sprints, and yeah, just kind of let my body tell me when I'm ready to go really, really fast. Or I'm not really, really fast, but to go, you know, fast. Instantly, there's drastic change in just how springy everything feels off the ground. Yeah. Just gonna take those, scale them up a little bit. I don't think I'll do too much more bounding. Just go from slow to fast. It's the thing that frustrates me when people overcomplicate things. Like, there's a degree of complexity in terms of like knowing your unique limitations and like the things you've got to chip away at, like I was talking about earlier with myself. But it's like, make sure the things that are going to restrict your performance are loosened up from a mobility perspective, and then just go light to hard, slow to fast. Just scale things up. Like, warm-ups can be very simple. Okay, I'm gonna get into some accel work. So I'm gonna do a couple 20 meter takeoffs. Okay, stumbled a little bit. That means I'm biasing towards leaning too much and not enough, and that's a good thing. The thing that you're not going to see is how much walking and standing around you do out here, because recovery takes a long time. If you want high outputs, you've got to let full recovery happen. Any fatigue takes away from what you can push. So counterproductive, not what we want. Doesn't feel great. All right, we're gonna hit this acceleration one last time, and then get into our top speed stuff, longer stuff. Yeah. It's the early. All right, so Freelap. You'll see the cones better down there, but I am gonna take Freelap chip, clips onto the waistband near the front. This is what's gonna trip the gates. Give me my times. I will see you on the other side. These two yellow cones, Freelap, 10 meters apart, 30 meters between the first cone and the start line. Plenty of time to get up to top speed. In theory, you're hoping you're at top speed throughout the 10 meters. Then you can get pretty good estimation of top speed and get those outputs. A little dry run, we'll go about 80%, and then we can see if my time is about 80% of what I get up to eventually. Yeah, easy one to start, feel it out. Make sure chip's working well and all that fun stuff, all the technology stuff. I said 80%, and then I took off, and then I forgot that my intention was to go 80%. 125 first run is not that fast, but it's close to what I've got in me. Like I said, lots of time just standing, walking. Refuel the system through rest, and we are out. 1.28. I don't love that. I don't love that is what we got, and that's how it felt. So my 125 was the top speed, estimated top speed of 28.8 kilometers an hour. That's a comparison. If I can't crack 125 today, that'll be a little disappointing. But we'll see what happens after a few more. By the way, I'm liking this format. I'm liking this video idea. And the mic hasn't fallen off yet. Okay. Set number 3. My right shin is feeling a little bit of fatigue here. Let's see what we got here. Rep number 3. Yeah. I don't like 1, 2, 7. If that wasn't my best yet, then I don't know what the fuck's going on. Felt really good. Let's go. 1.19. 1.1 fucking 9. That's the grand scheme of things, not a great time, not a great speed in the grand scheme of athletes, but it's a really good time for me. 30.25 kilometers per hour. Given that it's been a while since I've been on the track, it's good. It's good, really good. Averaging about 3 minutes between reps. This is cool. It tells you how much time you spend in between, along with top speed, everything like that. And also, shout out this mic. It stayed on me the whole time, didn't go flying off. We're gonna do just a little bit of lateral stuff, kind of like a sideways karaoke kind of bound, and then that'll be it for today. Let's go. Yeah. Again the other way. Just trying to cross the body, big push off sideways. Find a rhythm. Yeah. Tap and go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's it for me. Swapping out the shoes. I'm pretty sore actually through the shin. A lot of ground forces running through that thing. I don't do enough of this to be fully adapted to it. And but yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna try to do a little more of this. See what we can do. Get out of these cleats. All right. I am off to the gym. Some clients to train to finish out the day. Probably time for a lift as well on top of this today. So I'm gonna go do that, and then get some food on the way too. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Have yourself a good one.